Cafe Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is this? Oh, 2042.
Mike's Daily Podcast
2042. How are you? It's Thursday, I guess. I don't know. I kind of lost track. I do my best to keep track of things here in this podcast world at Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Mike Matthews. Hi.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Oh, my lovely lady friend and I went on this amazingly long walk yesterday, and that's why no podcast. I blame that.
Mike's
because I was so turd.
Daily
Podcast. So deterred and so tired.
Yeah.
It was just simply a long time. My dog is I gave him a pillow and he's like rubbing his face in the pillow. Ha 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 ha. I wonder if let's see if I can get that microphone on. We go to microphone 2. Can we hear on microphone 2? No. Sadly, it's not quite picking him up. Oh well. Had we known he was going to do that impromptuly, we would have had it on him. Hey, how are you today? Well, good. I got my check from Donald Trump today. Finally. In the mail. I don't understand why that was, because I did my taxes and, did all the stuff set up through the bank. Something went haywire. I don't know. And I got my paycheck after the paycheck, the stimulus check. Today. There are so many bankruptcies going on with retail businesses these days. Isn't that crazy? Why is that happening? Because we're not going out and shopping. We can't go shop. And if you didn't get started selling stuff online, you're way behind the 8 ball, as Amazon is way ahead of everybody. When we're back together...
And here's today's podcast picture.
Oh, it's a picture. Yeah, the last one we had that wonderful picture from San Francisco. One of the wonderful hearts that they have around the city that's painted. But this time, no, it is on Saturday. Oh, and that picture, yes, the last show, that was 8 years old. This picture is from this past weekend at Lake Chabot. And oh, the sun was coming down. My lovely lady friend and I were walking along there, and she had actually never been along that route in Podcastro Valley, so it was nice to share that with her. Basil the Boxer. Okay, this is sort of him playing at one time. And he was kind of making that noise, so there you go. Thank you, Basil the Boxer. We always appreciate you on every single podcast, and you will always be on every podcast because you're Basil. And you're the best. So, if you, we're all going to be back to gatherings at some point, like we are here at Cafe Anyway. We haven't shut down. We never shut down. We never shut it down. We probably were supposed to. But we've always stayed at least 8 feet apart from each other. And one of the millennials I work with goes, Mike, that's not how they say it. They say 6 feet apart. Why don't you get it right? And he gets so angry, and then he doesn't show up to work on time. And then I get this other guy at work who hates him because I guess he reminds him of a younger him. Because this guy is about my age, and I don't know, he just gets all perturbed because he shows up late, and then I have to, talk to both of them and calm them both down and get one guy to show up early and the other guy not to freak out as much. And then we all just get together as happily as pie and punch and plums and petulance and incorrigibles. And wait, what? Nah, it's all falling apart again. I guess I'm back to work and calming everybody down. And let me tell you, COVID-19 doesn't help any of this, does it? Just people are still freaking out. Folks, I got 2 words for you. Johns Hopkins Go to their website. They've got the fact-based information you need. Not the stupid internet, not the stupid social media, not even the stupid 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock news. It is the truth. They've done the tests. They know. Not even the president. As you know, wah, wah. Thanks for the check, DT. I will tell you, oh my gosh. I would tell you why that makes me laugh, but you would probably then not find it as funny. Don't you love those type of jokes? Let's just say someone I know who's not a big fan of DT, their initials are also DT. So that's kind of an interesting thing. But whatever. I guess there's a lot of people in this world that I don't like whose initials are MM. By the way, you can call me at 1-800. I don't have an 800 number. Dang it. I got a 336 number instead. It's kind of the same, but not really. It's not toll free. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast will try to get back on track and do. I couldn't do one yesterday. I was just so tired. I'm so tired. You cannot believe. And my lovely lady friend and I walked past Lake Chabot yesterday, although the picture that you see on the podcast picture is not from that. And I tell you, I love Castro Valley. I love the hills. The hills make you healthy. Now I like Alabama. I lived in Alabama for a while, but where I was, not so many hills. I kind of missed them. Then again, when you start walking up hills, you're like, I don't miss these at all. But it is good to get your cardiovascular up. And I implore you to do that, to try and do that. And to go outside, and you know what? Here in Alameda County, you can work out, you can run, you can jog, you can walk. They say keep 6 feet away from each other, but they also say if you're going to be exercising, you don't have to wear the mask. It's okay. But yes, when you're in the supermarkets and the retail stores that are kind of starting to open now, but when we're all back together and wearing masks, it is going to be, I have a feeling we are going to just get into it as far as like we are going to miss gatherings. We are going to miss seeing each other and having a bunch of us together. We have forgotten what that's like. And by the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been no TV, no new TV has been made because they can't. Because how are you going to film a scene? I guess everybody has to get tested. And it has to be it's going to cost a lot more to make TV shows and movies, because to get everything in line with what Johns Hopkins and everybody else says you need to do, it's gonna cost some moolah. And there's going to be, temperature checks every 5 minutes. People, they can't wear masks around each other to do a scene unless you write it into the scene. But let's say you're doing a period piece. I guess there's going to be a lot more movies about the Spanish flu. Oh, wait, did he just say that instead of the early 20th century flu? It was called the Spanish flu because the only country that reported on it, there was I heard this on NPR actually, so it's true. It was the whole world. Newspapers had an agreement. We're not going to talk about, every single country said we're not going to talk about this flu, this epidemic that's killing people. We're going to keep it a secret. Except in Spain, where they talked about it, and then it became known as the Spanish flu, even though it didn't start there. According to this NPR show that I listened to, they said it started somewhere in America, like Idaho or something. But then I read somewhere on the internet it was more like China. So I don't know. Cafe, I don't know. Johns Hopkins does. I bet Johns Hopkins has a website and they do have a website, but I bet they have a podcast where both Johns and Hopkins talk. How are you today, Hopkins? I'm just fine, Johns. And it's that kind of a show, and it's wonderful. But we're going to miss getting back together. We already miss getting back together. When we are able to do gatherings again, there's going to be a lot. And they're going to be popular, and people are going to get into it because they missed it. They missed the camaraderie, the socializing, the being around each other. I predict Coachella and what's the one in the South? Bonnaroo and all the others, they're going to just explode. And maybe that's going to be bad because maybe the coronavirus will come back in force, as they say that it possibly will at the end of this year or towards the winter. But here's the interesting thing that has nothing to do with the coronavirus for a change. So I'm a very busy man. I work and work and work, as I have alluded to in this podcast today. But one thing that I do remember is at one time I was unemployed. After the last economic downturn, I was unemployed. And when you are unemployed, you get invited to parties. Well, let's just say I get invited to parties now, but I can't go to them. Well, I don't get invited to parties now because there's none because of the coronavirus. Or if they are, they're super secret because nobody wants it to get out there. And then they're going to get reported on by their next door neighbor or whatever. And be asked not to do that. Don't get together. Don't have a party. Do not party. But let's just say back a couple months ago when everybody was COVID free at that point, way back. Remember when? Way back. And I get invited to all kinds of gatherings and stuff. I can't go because I'm working. So when I was unemployed, I could go to all these gatherings and parties. And I must say that you get this question a lot because you meet people, right? You're mingling, you meet new people, and they ask you, so what do you do? And when you're unemployed, it just sucks to go, I'm unemployed. But I guess nowadays it's not as bad because there are so many people unemployed. But when I was, it was kind of I hated that asking that question or being asked that question. And then I started to ponder, as I did on this podcast years ago, why do we always ask that question at parties? Why do we ask when we're trying to get to know someone that we haven't met at a party? We ask, well, what do you do? Because we're defined by what we do. Something to think about. Wow, Mike, that's so deep. We don't discuss other things, it seems. I guess we can't get around it. It's human nature. It's, do you like that kind of food? Maybe we could ask. Because there are other verbs we can ask about. What do you ski? Not what do you do? That's just so out there and hangs in the air. And anyway, now I got an answer to that question, so I don't care. Hey, let's talk to some people outside a cafe anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth, because they are standing 8 feet apart from me. Hi, Mac! It's Benita the Rodeo Queen! How y'all doing?
And it's a disgruntled fiddle player tell you what.
What?
If someone shows up late to my work, I fire them right on the spot.
Wow. You don't give them any leeway whatsoever.
No, I say you're fired.
Wow. So it's you lay down the law. You drew a line in the sand.
Yeah, when people can't talk correctly at my job, I fire them. They're fired.
Okay. Look who else is here.
Hello, Mike. I make the delicious root beer house, and right now I'll cut you.
Wonderful. Hey, so that's just... But I'm not giving you advice. I'm giving you other people's advice. Here's from the Costco from like way back in August of last year. Here is their best advice. The people wrote in, Costco members, best advice they ever received. You'll never regret taking the high road. Never regret taking the high road. It depends on who you're with. Some people, you need to take the low road. Otherwise, they don't see the high road. Maybe that's what I'm trying to... No? Stop worrying about things you have no control over. Oh, that's a good one for today. And one of my favorites, we don't have to agree on anything to be kind to one another. Aw. Don't act like the destination is more important than the journey. If you can't enjoy the way there, you aren't properly preparing yourself for the goal. Yeah, I've heard that before. you have to, you do have to enjoy traveling, working towards the goal, traveling to the destination, enjoy yourself. If you can't enjoy the way there, you aren't properly preparing yourself for the goal. Interesting. When you come discuss problems with me, this is good for my employees. When you come discuss problems with me, you also should bring the solutions. And I know someone I would love to say that to. In fact, I probably will next time he blows up and starts crying that the sky is falling. When you come discuss problems with me, you also should bring the solutions, options, or recommendations to choose from. That is very good. It is nice to be important, but it is more important to be nice. Back to the nice thing. You can't get it if you don't ask. That's true. That's my whole life. I didn't ask, and here I am. 'Cause I'll tell you why. I'm an only child, and you don't ask for things. You make things. You do things for yourself. Because you don't have a brother or sister. Hey, brother or sister, go get me this. You don't have anyone to depend on but yourself. So you do it yourself. That's why I don't ask. Let's see. If you have a significant other, always cook enough for two, even if they said they didn't want any. That's perfect. Yes, I'm cooking right now, actually, here at Cafe Anyway for my lovely lady friend. And you better bet I'm making enough for both of us. And you too, so come on over. Cafe Anyway. MikesDailyPodcast.com. You see a picture of Cafe Anyway. It's not what you earn, it's what you do with what you earn. Don't put your finger in the socket. What the hell? Yeah, that person had that. I guess that is good advice, right? Don't have a huge expense. Oh, yes. I've heard this. In fact, the guy I sometimes produce the show for, Rob Black, this is something he would say. Don't have a huge expensive wedding. Save up that money and put it toward a home purchase. Oh, Basil's talking to us now. What is that, Basil? So, would you have an expensive... What's that? Hour? Please, continue. The podcast floor is yours. Go on. No? You're just like every other person I put on the podcast. As soon as I turn on the mic, they clam up. Oh, you are saying something. Sorry. Arr. Okay. All right, well, I'm wrapping up, Basil, so you don't have to complain anymore. Okay. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. And give me your advice. What do you think? You can call me 336MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast shall try to be from henceforth forward. Take it away, friend.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.